For fans, Star Trek borders on the sacred, so reactions are reliably strong when it tackles the profane. Whether you think the latest evolution in the use of lively language is effing cool, or that it's the worst thing to happen to Trek since Shatner set out to Sharkari, swearing, stronger and stronger at that, is part of the franchise and warrants a discussion. With the amount of effing and jeffing I'm about to say, expect more beeps than Captain Pike's wheelchair. With all that being said, I'm Tom Roberts-Finn for Trek Culture, here with 10 shocking moments Star Trek used profanity. Number 10. Hell. Whilst a fairly innocuous word these days, getting hell into Star Trek took, well, a hell of an effort. For the season 1 episode of the original series, The City on the Edge of Forever, the studio strongly objected to the last line as spoken by Captain Kirk, "Let's get the hell out of here." With NBC wanting the line removed, both Gene Roddenberry and William Shatner had to convince executives that nothing but hell could close the episode, and they relented. For what is most certainly one of the greatest Star Trek episodes, one heck of an ending would have not cut it. The word hell had been said in TOS before The City on the Edge of Forever, but not as an expletive. In Space Seed, Kirk uses the word when he quotes the line from Milton's Paradise Lost: "It is better to rule in hell than serve in heaven." In another season 1 episode, The Alternative Factor, Lazarus cries out to Kirk, "I'll chase you to the very fires of hell." If the alternative is having to rewatch The Alternative Factor, I'll see you down there soon, Lazarus. Since then, there have been so many hells in Star Trek, even the Mother Mary has given up blushing. Number 9. Damn. You're familiar with the Good Doctor's line, "Damn it, Jim." Bones said that a lot in the original series, right? Well, not to get all Mandela effect on you, but you've been punked. There's a camera there's a camera there, etc. In truth, DeForest Kelley only ever said the line once to Kirk in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. "Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays." Presumably, they'd already gone through enough hell on TOS to be damned by the FCC. Besides, he's a doctor, not a swear jar. Furthermore, it was not until Star Trek Into Darkness that Carl Urban's incarnation of the character added the famous "I'm a doctor, not a" after the line "Damn it, Jim." Star Trek II wasn't done with the damns either. We got one from Savick and another "damn it" plus a goddamn from Bones in Kirk's apartment. Later, there's a "damned peculiar" from Kirk with regards to the recently requisitioned Reliant, and a few extra damns are sprinkled throughout the rest of the movie for good measure. When it comes to the other TV series, they've all given damn a damn good go. It is Captain Janeway, however, who undoubtedly gave us more of the finest examples of the lighter profanities. Stopped by a nebula? Damned if she will. Species 8472 are back in our galaxy. They'd better give her a damn good explanation. Delta Flyer doesn't win the race? Well, you get the idea. In any case, by today's streaming standards, all these damns seem positively tame. Number 8. Bloody. Given that traditionally the American usage of the word tends not to be an expletive, bloody comes up as such in the original series standout episode The Devil in the Dark. As Kirk lines up his red shirts to prepare to go hunting the misunderstood Mother Horta, he insists that he wants no more deaths, to which Chief Engineer Vanderberg, head of the Janus 6 mining colony, replies, "Except the bloody thing." It is a TOS legend who teaches the computer a bloody thing or two in the Next Generation episode Relics, when he goes to summon up a recreation of the Enterprise bridge, NCC 1701, no bloody A, B, C or D. Scotty, after a few Aldebaran whiskies, also gives us a masterclass in how to end a holodeck program that could save many the misfortune of a malfunction. Simply say, "Computer, shut this bloody thing off," and you'll never be trapped with the Practical Joker, Dixon Hill, Moriarty, Fistful of Datas, that Beowulf one, or in Fair Haven ever again. Number 7. Arse. Or ass. Let's get right to the bottom of things. The word arse, or ass, has been a Star Trek staple ever since Scotty called Harry Mudd a jackass in Mudd's Women. Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, gave us the double dumbass, and in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, Kirk wants to knock Spock on his goddamn ass. In Encounter at Farpoint, Picard's notorious nervousness around all those little rascals on the Enterprise D had him practically ordering Riker to stop him making an ass of himself with children. It's Captain Philippa Louvois who really sizes up Jean-Luc in The Measure of a Man when she says, "It brings a sense of order and stability to my universe to know that you're still a pompous ass and a damn sexy man," which is a line that never fails to make me cringe. Number 6. Piss. To quote head of the channel Chris, growing up in the UK would still get you a clip round the ear, despite "you really piss me off, Jim" getting the British Board of Film Classification approval for a PG rating for Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. It is Dr. McCoy who is riled up enough to swear at his off-duty captain's crazy stunt and cavalier attitude to life in Star Trek V. The profanity almost seems pedestrian to contemporary ears, but it, and the expletives in the TOS-era movies more generally, did loosen up the language for what we would later see down the line. Sensibilities have changed amongst the public and film classification boards alike. Today, it is the PG-13 rating that draws the biggest crowds in the US. Piss is used in the franchise in another sense in the Star Trek Picard Season 1 episode Broken Pieces. Cristobal Rios, not much in the mood to be a social butterfly, tells a worried Raffi who offers some company to piss off. Pissing off is Raffi's understanding reply. Number 5. Bastard. It is one of the best bits of dialogue in an otherwise run-of-the-mill movie, and it happens to feature a swear. We get the feeling that the de-bearded Riker was holding back another profanity or two when he outlined his Metreon gas maneuver to shove it down the sonar's throat, and to reuse a curse word from earlier, flying the Enterprise E by joystick is bloody cool. Without a doubt, the other most memorable, although tonally quadrants apart, use of the word bastard in Trek comes from Star Trek III: The Search for Spock. When Saavik reports back to the Enterprise from the Genesis planet that David is dead, Admiral Kirk is understandably unable to contain his emotions. He stumbles backwards, never quite making it to the command chair. "You Klingon bastards, you killed my son." I myself have been known to use the odd profanity when speaking about the Klingons. Usually it goes like this: "Oh, not another bastard Klingon episode, they're always so boring." Or something along those lines. Number 4. Bitch, bollocks, feck and frick. The 23rd century was a very different time. It made for a different breed of officer, who'd be booted out of Starfleet of the 24th century, as Captain Janeway once noted, although not without a degree of irony. Scotty wasn't reprimanded then, when he speculated about slain Chancellor Gorkon's daughter, Azet Burr. "I bet the Klingon bitch killed her father." That accent was almost as good as his. There have been several other incidents of the word bitch in Star Trek, both on its own and in its variant son of a. The most humorous of which is one where it is not said at all. What does it mean, arrogant son of a? Future barbecue enthusiast Rene Picard starts to ask in the Next Generation episode Family, before being promptly cut off by his uncle. Of course, it could only really have been Chief O'Brien who gave us bollocks. In Time's Orphan, a Deep Space Nine episode that was originally stated as a way to kill off Worf's son Alexander, O'Brien becomes increasingly frustrated with the state of his repairs and lets slip his testicular term. Whilst not likely to shock American ears, bollocks is a bit more problematic for UK and Irish audiences pre-Watershed. In fact, the BBC cut the word when the episode first aired, although somewhat strangely Irish broadcaster RTE apparently kept it in. Sticking with the Irish, no, not him. Actress Orla Brady was responsible for the inclusion in Star Trek of one of the most delightful swear words in the English language. In an episode of Picard that bludgeons us over the head with another F word, to be discussed later, the character of Laris was originally scripted to say, "Those sneaky bastards," regarding the shady Zat Vash. As for frick, that comes from Ensign Mariner in the Lower Decks episode Keishon His Eyes Open, when she asks Collector Siggy, "You couldn't lend a frickin' tentacle." Number 3. With or without an emotion chip fused to your brain, wouldn't you be swearing like a Starship Trooper if you were hurtling down towards Viridian 3 in the saucer section? The android's "oh remains one of the most memorable moments in the Star Trek generations. Until that point, Data couldn't muster up a contraction, let alone a curse word. The sudden swear was therefore so gloriously out of character that no other could have uttered it to such a hilarious effect. As our own Jack Pooley noted, the synth-startled S-bomb was included in the first place to bump up the film's street cred and box office saleability, from a G to PG rating in the Motion Pictures Association rating system. There have been a few more direct examples of the S-word since generations, as well as some creative variations on the theme both before and after. The award for funniest usage goes to Kirk's reply to Dr. Gillian Taylor in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. "No ma'am, no dipshit." Admiral Picard gets second prize for best peace-offering profanity to Captain Shaw in Star Trek Picard Season 3's no-win scenario, despite the fact that you are indeed a dipshit from Chicago. Shaw also gets a knowing nod for his cursing creativity in the episode 17 Seconds. Anyone else want to throw more weird shit at me? Other than the dipshit, we've had bullshit in Star Trek First Contact, horse in Star Trek Beyond, and there was a storm until shit fan in Star Trek Discovery, to name but a few. Number 2. The very first episode of Star Trek to include the F-word was Choose Your Pain. During a discussion about how they might stop using Ripper the tardigrade as the mycelial network's designated driver, it's Tilly who drops Star Trek's first F-bomb when she says, "This is so cool." Tilly promptly apologizes, but Stamets giddily replies, "No, cadet, it is cool." The use of the expletive had some fans up in arms. In response to the criticism at the time, in an interview with the AV Club, Discovery co-executive producer Aaron Harbetz explained that the first F-word of the franchise was included because we are streaming, so we could do whatever we want. It was in the context of 3 scientists having a victory and celebrating. It was sort of like Nerds Unite. They kicked ass and dropped a few F-bombs. Nevertheless, some found the sudden addition of such strong language in Trek to be rather jarring. The F-word seemed out of place for the usually more mild-mannered characters of a franchise that have never gone boldly beyond PG-13. Also, in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, one of the 20th century garbage men at the Golden Gate Park was originally scripted to say, "What the f*** was that?" The swear was downgraded to hell in the final version. Since Tilly, Stamets, and the tardigrade, the 4-letter words have continued to flourish. Number 1. Fuck. Sadly for me, there has been no use of the word in Star Trek, so here we are with further fuck. The second time anyone dared use the word in Trek was to Picard, in his very own series no less. We all know the Admiral Clancy line by now. It was certainly a shock to hear the esteemed captain, now retired Admiral, Picard being addressed in such a manner. Within the context of the events of the episode, Clancy might well have had a point. There was a certain arrogance to Picard's request. Patrick Stewart was, at least at first, taken aback by the profanity in Picard, as he told TV Guide. When I came across the first swear word in the first script, I can honestly tell you I was deeply shocked. It was something that had never been a part of previous Star Trek. He did concede that times have changed, however, and to continue to make the world a better place in the way that Next Generation sought to do, Star Trek Picard would have to change along with them. By the time Season 3 came along, Stewart wasn't at all as trepidatious, even throwing in an improvised bit of foul-mouthery in the episode No-Win Scenario during the scene with Jack Crusher on the holodeck. 10 rolling hours, Picard says. The little shuttle-escaped F-bomb caused as much backlash as you might expect, but showrunner Terry Matalas defended Stewart's off-color ad-lib, having initially been thrown by it himself, as a moment of authenticity between father and son. For better or for worse, because writers and producers are no longer working under the rules of broadcast television, there really has been quite a lot of effing and blinding in Star Trek Picard. As well as the above, we had the likes of I Hate That Hospitality hologram in Season 1's Absolute Candor, and Shut the Up in Broken Pieces, and Clone Their Cats in Season 2's Fly Me to the Moon. And that was 10 shocking moments Star Trek used profanity. Make sure to like and share the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the notification bell to be alerted of future videos. If you can think of anything we may have missed, then let us know down in the comments. You can find us on Twitter at Trek Culture and on Instagram at TrekCultureYT. You can find myself on Twitter at TomZFinn and on various other socials as well. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.